We have put together, I think, the most extensive and inclusive voter fraud organization in the history of American politics. Voter fraud. We have put together voter fraud. We have put together voter fraud, the most extensive voter fraud organization in the history of American politics.
Remember, folks, those are actual words, actual video from Joe Biden. They did put together the most extensive voter fraud organization in the history of the world, in my opinion. And hell, they caught themselves. Interestingly, Trump wants to fix that still. But for some reason, Senate leader, Republican John Thune, will not put it up for a vote, will not make it happen, will not get rid of the bullshit rules that he's allowing to slow him down, to stop it. Yep, the very system that put John Thune and others in power, they don't want to fix. Well, here we are, folks. It's the Prepared Mind channel. Get your comments down below into the questions. All caps will help me find things a little bit easier, because I want to hear what you're thinking. Hello there, Yankee, Watchdog, Nikki, Mikey, Diving Frog, and who else have we got in the house? Oh, we got Nancy Keg, little sister there. And, well, let's get into it, shall we? All caps below. I want to start off with something funny. Funny news of the day. NBC did a news poll, and they discovered that immigrations and customs enforcement is more popular than the Democrat Party. We all know that. Even a lot of Democrats want to get these people out of the fucking country, all these illegals. Well, don't worry. Trump still won't remove the illegals. He says they're good people, even though they rape, murder, rob, kill, kidnap, run drugs, and even though he promised he would get rid of them. You know, he promised. We voted. And we still, after all this time, are not happy what the illegals are doing, why they're here. And we would like our nation's daughters, and hell, the entire nation, period, safe. You know, in a lot of ways, it kind of feels like Trump has flipped and decided he wants to be a Democrat again instead of a Republican. Wow, I got to tell you, folks, it is crazy business. Let's get on with it, shall we? I make a lot of interesting claims on this channel. I tell you, hey, look, I've done the research. And I don't know if you guys research it also, or whether you just take what I say at face value, or if, you know, I know you give a shit because you come back every day. We all do. Well, it wasn't me in this case. I didn't make this claim. They did. All I'm doing is repeating what they are doing again. This time, trans testicle a transgender named Laverne Cox, C-O-X, is a black transgender. And this guy wearing hair and makeup was a guest on MSNBC. And here's the quote from transgender, black wannabe woman but has balls, Laverne Cox. Quote, "We need to stop anti-Semitism in order to protect transgenders because Jews invented transgenderism." I'm going to read that again. We need to stop anti-Semitism in order to protect transgenders because Jews invented transgenderism. Well, that's some circular, incoherent, logically failed wisdom. But thanks Mr. Cox, for confirming what I have been saying publicly. Oh, and Hitler burned, and I believe only burned, transgender and homosexual porn books the Jews were pushing on the German people in 1920s Germany. Thought you might want to hear that again. I'm sure there's going to be some complaints out there. There's going to be some complaints out there that, well, you know, it's transgenders. Once people turn on them, they start burning their books. Well, we've got a bunch of books to burn now in schools. They keep putting this homosexual crap, this transgender crap, all of this crap in front of our children. Our children. And what is the function and what is the purpose of this? It's to introduce perversion, pedophilia, pornography, and self-mutilation in front of children when their minds are most receptive to ideas, but not intelligent or learned enough to reject them because they're just children. And that's why the homosexuals are and continue to come for the children. All right, folks, it's the Prepared Mind channel. Are you prepared with food, water, shelter, clothing, medicine? Oh, yeah, means of self-defense. Go to thepreparedmind.club. That is your store. It's got a lot of ideas, a lot of products, you know, like food, water, shelter, clothing, all these things, including communications equipment, solar power. Get some ideas. Think about what you need if the power goes off, if we have a terror attack, if your neighborhood starts burning on fire because, you know, fruitcakes out there marching, causing trouble. All right. And speaking of fruitcakes causing trouble, there's these guys, and their names, well, they're the Alexander brothers. And yes, they are Israelis. They were just convicted of sex trafficking. And just so you know, their names were in the Epstein files, but the last name was redacted. Well, right, they're twin brothers, last name Alexander. I'm sure if you see and hear about brothers with the same first names, yeah, we know who they are. But Kash Patel, folks, again, the treachery and the perjury and the lying coming from our own government is off the hooks. Kash Patel, if you recall, said under oath, there's no evidence. No means no, we were told. No means no. There was no evidence of sex trafficking anywhere in the Epstein files. Right? That was his conclusion. That was his way of saying, I'm not going to do anything because there's no evidence. Well, I think he was wrong. I think he perjured himself. I think he's giving aid and comfort after the fact. He's contributing to and participating in a great crime. Again, I'm gonna go through this really quick. If you rob a bank and you ask somebody to come get you and then drive you to the bank so you can rob it, they're an accessory to the crime before the fact. If you rob a bank, run outside and jump in a car and say, hey, I just robbed a bank. I need you to give me a ride. And you give that person a ride, you're an accessory after the fact. Well, these people in the Epstein files, we see it. And it is disgusting. And by the way, interest in the Epstein files has ebbed. It's gone down a little bit because of the war in Iran and the fear over that and the gas prices and other things. Don't be distracted. Get back into it in social media and start demanding the files be fully released and we get arrests. We're now at that stage to demand arrests. We have the files. Demand arrests. Anyways, Kash Patel is sitting in his car at the curb, and the Epstein files jump in, and they go, hey, man, we're the Epstein files. We have trafficking children, eating children, raping children. murdering children, hunting children like toys and game. But we need you to cover for us. Give us a ride and hide us. And Kash Patel's like, yeah, no problem. I'll help hide you. I'll lie about where you are and what you've done. Our government is protecting child sex predators. In fact, all sex predators. Oh, also, the Kushners. You know, Jared Kushner, who's married to Ivanka Trump. The Israeli Kushners are also involved with the Alexander brothers. Just in case you were wondering about that angle. Yep, I believe they bought houses. These Alexander brothers are in real estate and other businesses where they make sure people get the things that they've earned. Right? Sounds a lot like quid pro quo to me. Well, you play the game, you've joined the club, you've killed and raped some children. We're going to get you a nice house. Now, I don't know if Kushner, Jared, is involved with Epstein's Island, but they sure seem to be involved in a lot of Epstein's business. Okay, well, here we are, folks. It is March the 10th. And we've got some exciting, interesting things going around in the world. But I think it's really important that you hear about something cute, something fun, like Trump appointing Erica Kirk to be the United States Air Force Academy on the Board of Visitors? Why? Seriously, why Erica Kirk and why that? Why the Board of Visitors? But I mean, seriously, isn't she making enough money off of merchandising her dead husband? Well, she should be having a lot more fun with her rallies, wearing lots of sequin clothes and sparkly fireworks and fake tears, all helping her pedophile co-sponsors. Oh, she seems to be knee, ankle, neck deep in a lot of shit. And Trump is just showing the connections. The connections. Trump is showing the connections. We got a lot of stuff going on, folks. A lot of stuff. We're playing a big, very important game right now. You and I, all of us, as patriots, as Americans, as veterans, as sportsmen, as constitutionalists, we're playing a very big and dangerous game. If we stop talking and stop demanding arrests over the Epstein files, it's going to go away. But don't worry, the attack on our free speech, on our civil liberties, on our constitutional rights is going to get worse. Let me tell you how the sneaky bastards do it. I'll give you an example, okay? Today in the city of Baltimore, Maryland, they had an active shooter incident. An officer was shot, and the suspect, or the guy who shot the officer, the suspect was shot. So an active shooter opened fire. Well, you can basically figure that out from the story, right? But let me read the rest of the line that came out of the media. An active shooter opened fire near a synagogue in Baltimore, Maryland, Tuesday afternoon. So that would have been, just today. One police officer was shot and has been transported to a hospital. The unidentified suspect has also been shot. I find that fascinating. The most interesting thing here is the media decided to include a little tidbit to make the story more juicy, to give it some agenda and angle, right? Because it's near a synagogue. The media did not say it was in the synagogue or in front of, or that the synagogue was somehow related to the incident. that people in the synagogue were involved, or they didn't give any reason why they mentioned the word synagogue, which of course is a Jewish place of some people would say worship, other people would say conspiring. Right? Just use the word synagogue when talking about a shooting, because it was near. I mean, how fucking near? It didn't say it was half a block, 1 block, a mile, 10 miles. It was near. Right? Near. Just use the word synagogue when talking about a shooting, and all the idiots can assume it's an anti-Semitic act, the shooting, and that all of the nationalism, the white conservative nationalism, has caused anti-Semitism and caused this shooting, right? So we must have censorship immediately. These jackasses in the media still think they're smarter than us, more clever. Unbelievable. Yeah. Mikey asks, was the shooter yelling Aloha snack bar? Doesn't say. They just wanted to make sure we knew it was near a synagogue. Holy cow, you mean a Jewish person could have been injured because it was near a synagogue? It's the stupidest shit. It's a form of subliminal or unconscious thought control. It's just fucking stupid. Near a synagogue. Oh no, not that. Not our precious synagogues. Who gives a shit? Now, if they shot up the synagogue, that'd be something different. Just as if they shot and or burned a Christian church or ran a vehicle into the Christian church, shot up people in the Christian churches. Thankfully, that's not happening right now. It's happening, folks. It's happening. Get your questions, your comments, your thoughts into the comment section. We'll get you on in the second half of the show. I'm going to do my 30-minute monologue. And the last half of the hour is going to be your guys' questions, comments, and thoughts. Yes. Took one to the head today. Ouch. Anyways, I won the fight. You should see the other guy. Anyways, we got some interesting news over in Iran. Interesting news out of Iran. I want to give it to you. The Secretary of War, Pete Hegseth, has confirmed today that an Iranian oil facility has been struck by an Israeli missile. And this attack by Israel on an Iranian oil refinery was outside of the objectives of the United States military. Of course it was. Of course Israel will bomb schools, hospitals, and infrastructure because nothing makes a people feel happier about Israel and happier about being freed by Israel, because right, the Iranian people are supposedly supposed to feel good about all of the freeing that they're getting from their liberators. You know, the feelings of freedom, like being blown to bits or destroying jobs, wrecking their infrastructure and economy. This is supposed to be a surgical strike and a removal of the Iranian leadership. And then the people were going to rise up and they didn't, and they haven't. We have an update on things happening near synagogues. Yankee Watchdog wants us to know that a man was cited for selling hot dogs without a permit near a synagogue. Wait a minute, were those kosher hot dogs? We need to look into this. Inquiring minds want to know. Thank you, Watchdog. These fucking people. Yeah. So Israel bombs yet more infrastructure that Iran needs for its own independence. Were Iran to get rid of its radical, crazy Islamic leadership. You know what? One media source referred to it and said, well, Iran went from being a net exporter to a net importer of oil. Really? Unbelievable. All you got to do is call up Russia, and they'll just ship them some oil, I guess. Crazy bit, folks. Just wow. I got a little piece here. This was kind of interesting. I missed it on Sunday. Jay Miskinnis wanted to say that this is what he said. I saw an interesting comment elsewhere recently. Quote, the most difficult part of a 2-week war is the first 6 years. I'm sorry I missed that. Good golly. That's a good one. Thank you there, Mr. Miskinnis. Yeah. I don't know how long this war is going to go. Today was quite interesting. The oil price has come down significantly. You might ask how they brought it from 116 back down to, well, 87-ish. It dropped down into the 86 zone too today. Well, the way you do that is they've figured out how they can control pricing. What they did is anyone who wants to buy oil stock in futures, is they say, well, if you want to invest $100,000, and this is just a rough example. If you say you want to invest $100,000, well, you need to have margin requirements, right? Margin, meaning you have to have extra cash in case your investment goes the wrong way. If you invest on margin, most people do. How would you like to spend $100,000 and be able to control $1 million in oil? They do it with margin. So they take that $100,000 and apply $10,000 to each of those $100,000 contracts. So you get to control $1 million with $10,000. So in order to control the price and keep it from going up, same thing they do in silver and gold and, well, GameStop and other commodities and equities, is they say you've got to have more margin. You need more cash on hand. And they're chasing people. Yes, Mikey, it is leveraging. Okay, got some good stuff here. Let's put that in the box for later. Good deal. Now, we've got a war going on. We have our Secretary of Defense who wants to make Zionist Israelis' dreams come true. What the fuck is going on? Right? This pushing of Israel and pushing of Israelis and pushing of Chabad Lebovich and pushing of all this crap. Well, did everyone know that Trump's son-in-law, Kushner, isn't a nuclear weapons expert? No, he's not a negotiating expert either. Apparently, he's kind of a real estate developer, kind of like daddy-in-law. Well, Trump's son-in-law, Jared Kushner, is not a nuclear weapons expert. But according to nuclear experts, Trump's justification for going to war with Iran was all a lie perpetuated by none other than Jared Kushner. See, Jared Kushner is not a nuclear expert, but allegedly, apparently, well, all of these experts are calling out Jared Kushner and Steve Witkoff, both of whom are supposed to be negotiators for America. So they're calling him out regarding Iran's research reactor. These experts in nuclear technology, nuclear fusion, nuclear refining, nuclear everything, have stated that Iran's nuclear facility lacked the capabilities that Jared Kushner and Steve Witkoff described and used as evidence and justification to tell Trump to bomb Iran. Folks, every fucking missile they fire is anywhere from $1 million to $3 or $4 million, because they won't give us a straight fucking answer. But just understand, every single missile, every time it goes shoom, 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 millions of dollars. Not to mention we have aircraft carrier groups, submarines, troops all sitting offshore. Yeah, folks. The Tehran Research Reactor, which is a 60-year-old facility, was not designed to enrich uranium, but Kushner said it was. So now we have Trump's son-in-law. No nepotism there. Making up stories and bullshit. Remember, Jared Kushner is part of Chabad Libovich, this Jewish, Zionist, Talmudic, Jewish supremacy organization that wants to bomb the fuck out of Iran and do the Greater Israel Project, where they take over the Middle East and just annex everything so they control as much land as, well, all of Europe. Yeah, Kushner's part of that. So we can trust him. I don't fucking think so. I mean, it's becoming so patently obvious what the fuck is going on around here. So, just what the fuck is going on around here, right? Now, the Saudi foreign minister revealed something today, and this is his statement, quote, "If the Pakistani intelligence services had not provided us with timely information, we would not have known that the attack on the oil refinery had been carried out by Israel and not by Iran." You see what's going on here, folks? Israel attacked our allies, Saudi Arabia, by bombing, attacking their oil refinery. And it wasn't the American intelligence. Of course, they're not going to admit that Israel did it. It wasn't the United States intelligence services and military that said, hey, Israel did that and blew up your fucking refinery. No, it was the Pakistanis, folks. How about that, huh? It just gets better and better every time we look at it. Iran gets their facilities bombed by Israel, which is outside the prescribed course of action. Israel just does whatever the fuck it wants. Hey, Saudi Arabia, we want to scare them into thinking Iran's doing stuff. Let's bomb their shit. And so they did. And here we are, folks, yet again. Israel just doing whatever the fuck it wants and hoping it doesn't get caught. And when it does get caught, who cares? Now, this is what Trump said, folks. Trump said, this is a fucking quote, okay? Based on what Jared Kushner told me, I thought Iran would attack us. So in order to make an excuse for his decisions and his selections and his choices, Trump wants to blame his son-in-law. Starting a war based on something Jared Kushner said, that is some entry-level, low IQ, extra chromosome bullshit. Oh, it's just unbelievable, folks. Comments, questions, thoughts down below. We are at the 30-minute mark. I've got a lot more to talk about, but hey, let's hear what you guys have to say, huh? This is a good one. Diving Frog says, John, Trump has a real problem. Very powerful billionaires that are not Zionists have told him, Trump, that Trump, needs to exit the war now or they will remove him. This is coming from a reliable source. Mr. Diving Frog, you say or write it comes from a reliable source. I would like to know more about the source. Is it media? Is it a business group, a business insider group? I'd like to know. I would definitely like to know. It's believable. I don't know if they can remove him JFK style. But right now, Trump is doing exactly what his masters want. Now, I do believe that very powerful billionaires are out there. And there are very powerful billionaires who are not Zionists, who aren't Israel first and Israel only and Israel always, like that sack of homosexual shit, Lindsay Lighten the Loafer Graham. He says to the day he dies, he's all Israel all the time. Right? These billionaires aren't like that. But do they really have the power to remove him? And if they let Trump know? I know that the United States of America has realized they've bitten off a big chunk of a shit sandwich. And they got a mouthful of it with Iran in this situation. They're in big, big trouble. Big, big trouble. If you can reveal the reliable source, Diving Frog, I'd like to know. Good comment there. Very quickly from Yankee Watchdog, someone should find out if Cash Patel has some offshore accounts. Well, that's the thing with offshore accounts. You see, let's just say I got on a plane and flew to the Grand Caymans. And I had an appointment with an attorney. And I said, Mr. Attorney, I would like to open a numbered account here in the Cayman Islands. He would say, okay, what we need to do is we need to start a shell corporation. Okay, so we're going to start a shell corporation. You're going to be the CEO and the board member. And it's going to be a numbered account so nobody knows it's yours. And then I can give this numbered account to, say, a lobbying organization like the America-Israeli Pedophile Action Committee, or maybe the ADL, or the George Soros Screw America Foundation, or maybe the Clinton Foundation. Right? They could put money in a numbered account that there's no way to find out. I control it. Right? And it would be stupid of me to transfer money from an offshore numbered account to a onshore business or personal banking account tying me to that account. Right? So Cash Patel, he's probably not absolutely retarded, so he's not going to make that mistake. All right, let's head over here and see what Nikki says. She says, yeah, didn't come down at the pumps. She's not talking about shoes, those kind of pumps. She's talking about the fuel pumps. We're up 10 cents over yesterday again. Diesel, and Nikki is in over on the east side of Florida. Diesel is now $5.19 a gallon. Yeah, it's interesting, right? The per barrel price got the shit smashed out of it using price management techniques. That sounds nicer, doesn't it? That sounds nice. Price management. It's still corrupt as fuck. It's still disingenuine. It's still not free market. It's still manipulation to enrich the people they want, or, since oil is so political, to make the person in charge look great. You look so great with that great oil price, but at the pump, we're still getting fucked. You want to know why? Because the oil is still not coming through. Not coming through the Strait of Hormuz. It's not coming through the Red Sea. It's not coming through the Suez Canal. The oil is still stuck in tankers over in the Persian Gulf. Yeah. You bet. All right. Let's do this. I need to see what you guys are up to over here. Yeah. Okay. Question, comments, thought? Put them in there in the comments down below. Folks, we got some more stuff. Let's see. What do we got here? Oh, this is just, look, we're engaged, or shall I say our government, all the world's governments are engaged in a huge gaslighting, lying, propaganda, bullshit plastic banana system of trying to control our thoughts. We got a strange twist of weird ass war events. The Iranian IRGC is telling the world any nation who expels United States and Israeli ambassadors will be allowed to navigate the Strait of Hormuz safely. All you got to do is kick out the U.S. embassy or ambassador, kick out the Israeli ambassador, and Iran will let your ships come through the Suez Canal, Strait of Hormuz. It's interesting, huh? Right-wing media is calling Iran unhinged, which I find funny, because it was an unhinged Israel and a confused Trump who can't figure out if Iran actually has nuclear weapons, enriched uranium, a bomb. Can't figure it out. And then they can't figure out who started the bombing first and what the real objectives are. Right? Israel was first. Well, it's about freedom, but then they said they want the oil. Remember that? The objective was freedom for the women. Free those poor women. They pulled that shit, if you recall, in Iraq. So the Taliban was excused. The United States came in. They said, women, take off your clothes. Take off your burqas and your hijabs. You get to go to school and learn, and you'll have free speech. And then a few years later, the U.S. gives the country back to the Taliban, who immediately goes over and starts throwing burqas on women and beating them with sticks for thinking that they're smart and they should be allowed to speak. Yeah. So our objective here in Iran is to free the women. Apparently the Iranian soccer team, women's soccer team, is being granted asylum by Australia. And I think that Trump is offering asylum to Iranian women as well. These fucking people, folks. Sick and tired of their bullshit and distractions. And it's ever-changing bullshit, too. I miss the time when government at least did a good job of giving us a straight story and a straight plan. But it's been decades. It really has. It really has. I don't think we've gotten a fucking true statement out of the government since Reagan. And even then, we still had the Iran-Contra affair. If you guys remember what that was, the Iran-Contra affair. The CIA was selling missiles to Iran in exchange to get money to fund the Sandinistas, or is it the Contras, in El Salvador when they were battling communism in Central America. Woo! Yeah. Interesting how the CIA loves to operate, huh? All right, let's continue, folks. This is really important. If we want our elections to be honest, so we can try and get honest government, all we need to do is have good, honest, decent elections. But our rhino bullshit Senate leader, John Toon, is basically pissed on us all, mocking us, the American voters. He labeled the Safe America or Save America Act as propaganda. No, it's a fucking law, you dickhead. It's propaganda from paid influencers. Paid influencers? I don't know if we're influencers, but we definitely fucking pay. We pay for the government, you asshole. And he, John Toon, is a paid actor. So act on our behalf, fuckface. It's just that disgusting. It's that big of a problem. All right, folks, let's see what you want to talk about. We've got Diving Frog. He says, John, it seems that Epstein may still be alive. It turns out that the body, which was autopsied, had prostate surgery, but Epstein never did. If I read it right, Epstein had his prostate removed, but the body that was autopsied, the dead body that was supposed to be Epstein, had a healthy and intact, though a little swollen prostate. Here's my question. Which one is it? Which story? Was it Epstein didn't have a prostate, but the body double replacement did? Or the guy that they had looked at didn't have a prostate and Epstein did? Either way you look at it, Epstein's not the person that was autopsied. Is he alive? Well, the pictures, the photos of a ragged, bedraggled looking, disheveled piece of shit over in Israel certainly looked like Epstein to me. He had a beard, which kind of hides his trademark oversized chin. He has more chin than a Chinese phone book. Woo! Okay, let's continue if we shall. Folks, chance favors the prepared mind. Are you guys prepared? Food, water, shelter, clothing, medicine, means of self-defense. You need to have that. You need backup power. You need communications, meaning world radio, ham radio, CB radio, walkie-talkies, some way to communicate near and far. Get it together, folks. We really need to be prepared. All right, let's see what we got here. Okay, this is coming from Nikki. Nikki is an information junkie, not a drug junkie, an information junkie. In real life, she's a great person, very fun to be around. But she says, what's going on with all of the media is propagandist crap. There are plenty of people in Iran that look just like you and me. Well, I don't think there's any platinum blonde natural towheads in Iran. But I think I know what you're saying, Nikki. They run around in jeans. They go to college. They go to restaurants. They do have or did have a rather good functioning democracy, if you will. According to most of the military guys, which think Trump's a buffoon, the best functioning democracy in the Middle East. Yeah, I don't know if they have a democracy. I don't know that. I do know that what you're saying is true. I've seen a lot of what appears to be modern video. I don't see everyone wearing burqas and all that, but they show us what they want us to see. They show us what they want us to see, because everything is about control. It really is. Nikki says, okay, no Vikings. You know what I meant. I know what you meant, man. I got it. And Diving Frog says, I may have got it backwards with Epstein prostate or no prostate. That's all right. We got it covered. The key point is the dead body and the Epstein had different prostate conditions. Woo! Okay, Courageous Cat has checked into the comment section. All right, what do you guys want to talk about? I've got just a few minutes left. I need to have this looked at. Took a shot to the head today. But C is in the house. C, don't forget, next Sunday you get 2 super chats because you did a $50 PayPal super chat donation. And Courageous Cat says, I never believed Epstein was dead. I didn't either. You know what? How about this? Do you think Putin's dead? Do you think Putin's retarded? Well, get this. Trump and Putin, according to the media, This would be right-wing media. Held a phone call today. They had a discussion on the phone. They wanted to discuss, or someone wanted to discuss, both the Ukraine and Iran wars. Now, Putin, for weeks and months and in some cases years, Putin has been publicly discussing that Western governments are satanic and evil and aligned with Nazi types. He said these things publicly. He said them to his government. He said them to foreign governments. He said them in conferences. He's addressed his nation. He calls them satanic. Does Trump really think? Does Trump really think Putin is retarded? And that if they have a phone call that Putin is going to fall for some bullshit promises? Promises. Coming from a guy who has done a 180 on everything in his campaign, except he seems to be telling John Toon, pass the SAVE Act so we have fair, reliable, honest elections. I don't know. John Toon's doing whatever he wants. Sounds to me like Trump really isn't pushing him that hard. Well, I know I'm going off on a tangent here, but couldn't they vote John Toon out of power in the Senate if they wanted? How fucking hard is that? You call for a vote of no confidence. 51 senators say, yeah, we don't like this fucking clown, and they kick him out of fucking office. He can just go be a regular senator, not the Senate leader. That's how that works. If Trump really wanted that, he could do that. He could have J.D. Vance, president of the Senate, as vice president to the country. He's president to the fucking Senate. He could go in there, make a speech on the floor, call for a vote of no confidence, kick John Toon out of the fucking power, put in someone that'll do the damn job, and get it fucking done. You know what I mean? Anyways, back to Putin and Trump. The U.S. government, Washington, D.C., has funded and supplied weapons and provided intelligence that has caused the deaths of both Russian military and civilians because of the damage done at Russian refinery, Russian bridges, and Russian civilian housing. Our bombs, missiles, guns, rockets, helicopters, jets, bullets have killed Russian military for years. And we're supposed to believe that, well, Trump and Putin are talking. Yeah, Putin, yeah, Trump will get him. Art of the deal. Really? Think Putin forgot all that shit? Think Putin forgot that he's called these people a bunch of Satanists and that they're destroying their own culture and their own countries? Putin isn't going to give in to Trump, who, by the way, Putin knows he is Israel's lackey. The world knows Trump is Israel's lackey. We all fucking know it. We all fucking know it. All right. Nikki says, they did say Trump called him Putin, not the other way around. I'm sure he did. You know, I really believe that Trump needs to get the fuck out of this war before we get really fucked up, before this gets really out of hand. And I don't mean like the United States, us over here, we're going to get bombed by Iran. If we get bombed in our country, it's going to be because Israel has done it. And the CIA, our own government, and Israel, and maybe even MI6 out of England. I believe they would bomb us. I have no doubts, folks. Now, this is interesting. Courageous Cat is pointing out a fact. This is a fact. Putin was one of Klaus Schwab's he was on the forum of the young global leaders, and Putin left. Interesting, huh? When Putin was young, yeah, he was one of the young global leaders. Klaus Schwab in the World Economic Forum, and this group has been around for decades trying to build trying to build a coalition of world leaders they could both influence and control. Well, what's interesting, Courageous Cat, if you take a look at Putin, he is no longer young. So the young global leaders, that was, I believe, back in the 90s. I don't know when Putin decided to leave, but he hasn't really been a participant over at the World Economic Forum. And I really think that any people from any nation should throw their fucking political leaders out for participating in meetings with these fucking murderous pieces of shit at the World Economic Forum. They're the ones that want to feed you bugs, feed you fake sludge meat. They want to inject you. They want to inject you with, well, vaccines that aren't vaccines. They're gene therapy that change your genome. They change you from being who you are into something else. And you don't know what it is. None of us know what it is. I tell you. Yeah. Anyways, Courageous Cat, thank you for that about Putin. I don't mind saying it. The dude was part of it. He probably learned a great deal about them, their beliefs, and what they were shooting for. Putin has been a very shrewd leader. He was also KGB, or was he GRU? I can't remember. I believe he was KGB, which is the Russian equivalent of the FBI, and the GRU is more like their CIA. Okay. I tell you, yeah. So Putin gets a call from Trump. They have a talk. Putin probably told him exactly what he believes. We'll never get the truth or the facts or anything else. So any of you out there holding your breath, please stop. Please stop. We've heard about Virginia, right? Virginia has an ex-CIA spook as their governor now. She is a just filthy looking piece of trash. And Virginia is promoting homosexuality, homosexual sex, and transgenderism in schools. But the state of West Virginia, folks, the West Virginia Senate has a bill, stands up for kids, right? The West Virginia passes the bill to shield children from drag shows and transgender locker room activities. In other words, keep the men out of the women's locker room. But this is interesting. West Virginia, protect kids. Virginia, victimize kids. West Virginia, protect. Virginia, victimize. These are 180-degree different directions. How can our country be that fucked up? Well, first off, we have fucked up elections. That needs to be fixed. But there's a problem in this country. We are not just a little divided. It's not like, should we spend half a $1 trillion on national defense, or should we spend $1 trillion on national defense? Right? It's more like one side is saying, let's spend $10 trillion a year. And the other side is like, we should sell all of our military equipment and ships and tanks and helicopters. Yeah, that's what we should do. They're just completely opposite. Protect kids. Victimize kids. They don't see it as victimizing. They don't see it as victimizing. Do you guys feel safe? Do you feel safe? Feel safe in this country? I don't feel safe, and there's nowhere else to go in the world, folks. Nowhere. Nowhere else in the world can we go and be safe, because you'll be hated either for being an American, you'll be hated for being straight, you'll be hated for being white, you'll be hated, and you won't be allowed to speak. Can't go anywhere. You know, Epstein wasn't just an American pedophile master. right? Like a circus 3-ring master. No, it was international, folks. Not just the United States of America. There's a French connection. There's an international connection, right? We had, Prince Andrew of England. There's England, right? We've got the guy up in Norway, the former prime minister. He was arrested for his participation with Jeffrey Epstein, and apparently just the random files that have a lot of redacted information. That was enough to arrest that motherfucker. Folks, court documents show that Epstein's associate, Jean-Luc Brunel, apparently had an industrialized system of exploitation, meaning he had an international and business that sent underage models to the United States. But, there's no evidence of any trafficking anywhere. That's right, folks. Court documents in France have now proven that Jean-Luc Brunel was part of this system. Maybe someone should send Kash Patel a memo. What do you guys think? What do you think? All right. Heidi says, I feel safe, but I live in the sticks. Yankee Watchdog, yes, we are. This nation is completely divided. If someone's not your friend, they're your enemy. We are surrounded by our enemies. 4, 5, or 6 out of 10 people that live around you are your intellectual, legal, and moral enemy. Intellectual enemy. Your ideas don't match. You can never be friends. You're intellectual enemies. Morally, they see no problem with pedophilia, with exposing children to drag queens. No problem. Helping children mutilate themselves, getting them on SSRIs and mind control drugs. They're all for it. They're your moral enemy. And they're your legal enemy. 4, 5, or 6 out of the 10 people, every 10 people, 4, 5, or 6 are Democrats, and they're your legal enemy. They fucking hate the Constitution. They hate it. They hate it. And if they had their way, they would kill you. Nikki says, I don't feel safe anymore. I think it's going to get quite bad for us here shortly. The repercussions of this Iran crap are no good. Kind of hard to argue with that, Nikki. I really want to thank all of you guys, really, for putting on a great show with me. Everyone put together some well wishes for Mr. Uman. He's busy with a very large move right now. Got his hands are tied up, his brain is tied up, his legs are tied up. But he'll be back, and he's let me know throughout the day. He sends me messages, but we'll get him back here. Yankee Watchdog says, Yankee Watchdog says 2 out of 10 here are Democrats. I have a list. My area is very heavy Republican. There's still 4 out of 10 are registered Democrats. Courageous Cat, your head must be on a swivel these days. Keep an eye out. Watch your fucking back. The other day, I walked around a corner on one of my building sites, had 2 ghetto brothers. They were picking up, someone was throwing away a futon bed. They just chucked stuff in an alley. Well, these guys were cleaning shit up. And I thought, hey, that's nice. These guys care about their neighborhood. But you never know who it is. I could have come around that corner and saw someone in a business suit, turned my back on them. They could have clubbed me like a fucking ARP seal. You never know. You never know. Nikki. All right, everyone. Thank you for all you do. Thank you for the great support. Thank you for the super chats. Thank you for sharing information. Contact Congress. Contact the president's office and tell them no more Epstein files. We want arrests. Now, we have the files. Now give us their arrests. Give us our country back. Pass the law and fix our elections. Kick the fucking illegals out. Sounds like a plan to me. Chance favors the prepared mind. Semper Fi, everyone. God bless America.